Hey everyone, welcome to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. All the details are in our video, so stay with us from start to finish, and don't forget to subscribe and share before we dive in. Thank you for being here. Lately, gossip feeds and late-night chats have circled around one repeating whisper, that Elçin Sangu might be expecting, and that Barış Arduç has already gone down on one knee. There has been no official confirmation from either of them, yet the murmur from friends of friends and quiet family circles paints a picture of two beloved stars standing at the threshold of a new chapter. What set the rumor mill spinning wasn't a single moment, but a string of small choices that felt like clues. Fans noticed Elçin stepping out in looser silhouettes, in comfy knits and softly draped coats, a marked shift from her usual polished, figure-conscious elegance. She, who used to light up social media with behind-the-scenes glimpses and spontaneous selfies, suddenly pressed pause, choosing silence over snippets. Those who work with her have said, in carefully phrased remarks, that she's been calmer, more inward, protecting her energy. Those little notes were enough. People connected dots, and the speculation bloomed. Just as the conversation started to simmer, another claim crackled through the grapevine. An intimate proposal, utterly simple and devastatingly heartfelt, delivered by Barış. No fireworks, no towering display, just a private moment, words chosen with care, and a ring that meant more than any grand gesture. The story goes that Elçin was overwhelmed and radiant, the kind of happy that shines without trying. Some swear that families have already sat together at a quiet table, speaking in practical tones about dates and places, passing plates and pouring tea as though planning were the most natural thing in the world. Their chemistry has been a legend since the days they first shared the screen, the kind that turned casual viewers into devout fans. What once felt like a beautiful illusion built for a scene, many now believe has grown a heartbeat away from the cameras. Social media comments glow with hope, the story we watched has come to life, people say, and every new whisper about a wedding is greeted with a rush of excitement. You see the question everywhere, gathering likes and replies, will they say yes in front of everyone soon? Still, this is the realm of rumors, overheard phrases and careful hints. One statement from Elçin Sangu or Barış Arduç could flip the narrative on its head. Yet what we're hearing from those hovering just outside their circle is that changes are indeed being made, not just for the next few days, but for the years ahead. There's a sense of planning, a sense of we that stretches outward, as if both are quietly fortifying their future. All eyes are fixed on Elçin, waiting for a caption, a candid picture, a single sentence that clarifies everything. Industry watchers say the silence is strategic. Friends say it's protective. Fans say it's suspense. Whatever it is, it has the world of celebrity chatter poised for a surprise, perhaps a sudden reveal, perhaps a soft confirmation that arrives when nobody expects it. Meanwhile, the undercurrent of rumor widens. People close to Elçin describe her as cautious in the most thoughtful way, measured with her time, careful with the scenes that require intensity, determined to keep her body and mind balanced. There's talk that production schedules have bent gently around her, that hours have been fine-tuned to keep the pace humane. Those tiny shifts, the ones that almost go unnoticed, often foreshadow big news in this world. And then there's Barış, whose actions seem to be speaking loudly even as his lips are sealed. Those near the sets say they arrive together more often than not, and when they don't, they tend to leave in tandem, van doors sliding shut on soft laughter. The story making the rounds is that he's been telling close friends a phrase as straightforward as it is telling, "Everything is going very well in my life." People have taken those words and held them up to the light, seeing in them a promise of vows and maybe a nursery. There are whispers of preparations already unfolding in the background, planning that balances romance with privacy. We're hearing about venues that feel like home without being obvious. Somewhere by the sea, perhaps, or a historic villa where the walls have stories of their own. Nothing extravagant, nothing that shouts. According to those whispers, Elçin wants a ceremony that is both intimate and elegant, with a guest list small enough to mean something. Barış, they say, is perfectly aligned with that vision, more focused on meaning than spectacle. On social media, the conversation splits in two. Half the crowd is already celebrating in the comments, sending blessings as if the wedding were set for next weekend. The other half keeps tapping the brakes, insisting on waiting for a direct announcement. Yet the pairing of their names continues to make headlines over and over again, tethered to hope and curiosity. A single post from either of them could reshape the day's news in a heartbeat, could turn a tide of rumors into a wave of certainty. And then came the trip everyone is talking about, a short stretch of days when they stepped out of the usual orbit and went somewhere quieter, far from the clatter of attention. Friends describe it as a reset, a chance to breathe and speak openly about what comes next. On their return, those who spotted them talk about an ease that felt new, a calm awareness in Elçin's eyes, and a subtly protective shift in the way Barış carries himself beside her. It didn't take long for the columns to crown the trip with a dramatic tagline, a turning point. There's been a slight shift in the air on set as well. Colleagues who have been around them say they're watching a pair who are both more attentive and slightly more distant all at once, as if building a little world for two in the middle of the crowd. The glances they trade are brief but warm, and the small smiles feel layered, an entire conversation living in a heartbeat. Even the quiet moments between takes seem charged with a shared understanding, like all the noise has fallen away and they're listening only to each other. Within the industry, the whispers are no longer only about if, but when. There's also talk that Elçin's family has been visiting Istanbul more frequently, and that there have been soft-lit evenings where both families have shared time together, the kind of gatherings that feel comfortable, not ceremonial. Stories circulate about a small meeting, nothing formal, nothing posted, where an engagement was discussed in gentle tones. No confirmations, of course, but the idea has nestled into the narrative and refuses to leave. The accumulation of these details has only strengthened their hold on the headlines. Every new photo is dissected, every sighting becomes a clue. The silence, intentional or not, only sharpens the fascination. No one is saying yes or no, and somehow that makes the conversation even louder. Still, the mood around them feels hopeful, as if a happy reveal is inevitable, just waiting for the right moment to land. What adds to the intrigue is how true this all feels to who they are. Elçin has always worn a quiet grace, never one to flash private moments for the sake of a story. Barış has always balanced fame with a grounded presence, seeming most himself when the cameras are off. The thought that they would keep something sacred close until it's ready to be shared makes perfect sense. And yet, because of who they are to their audience, because of that once-in-a-generation screen connection, people can't help but want to be there right when the curtain lifts. Friends say that if and when the announcement comes, it won't be theatrical. Maybe a single image, soft and unguarded. Maybe a sentence that says everything without explaining anything. That's the kind of reveal that would feel right, a modern fairy tale told in whispers rather than fireworks. And if there's truth to the baby speculation, if the loose sweaters and careful schedules do mean more, it would explain the protective posture, the guarded routines, the refusal to feed a frenzy. Some insiders describe a calendar delicately penciled, not inked. Weekends that might be for venue visits. Afternoons for tasting menus and listening to musicians who understand romance in minor keys. A guest list that fits on a page rather than a booklet, names chosen with the heart instead of habit. The emphasis is on intimacy, on crafting a moment that belongs to them first, long before it belongs to the world. Meanwhile, the fandom is in full swing, united and divided at once. There are threads filled with congratulations, collages of their most iconic scenes side by side with candid shots where they laugh with the same unguarded joy. In the same breath, there are cautious posts that say, "We'll wait for them to speak." The conversation never ends, it simply shifts shape with each new hint, each quiet day. The short getaway continues to be the most dissected piece of the puzzle. Where did they go? Who saw them? The answers are always vague, offered by someone who heard it from someone else. But in the absence of clear details, meaning is built from impressions, a tranquil place, a view that opens the mind, conversations long enough to make decisions. Their return felt like a new chapter because they carried themselves like two people who had rewritten the outline together. Industry talk suggests that the set's where they've recently crossed paths. Special shoots, a campaign rumored to reunite familiar faces, a carefully curated commercial, have noticed the difference. It's not a show, not an act. It's an energy. The hush before a big reveal often has a particular sound, and those who've been in this business long enough claim they can hear it now. As for the families, the rhythm of their visits has been a major point of curiosity. There are whispers about dinners where laughter was easy, about parents who seemed content, and siblings who offered easy affection. The word supportive comes up again and again, paired with ready. Ready, perhaps, to welcome a new beginning, to mark a milestone not with spectacle, but with the warmth of agreement. If an engagement talk actually happened, it would align with the couple's taste, understated, sincere, and insulated from noise. Those who admire them don't need a spectacle to believe. They only need a sign. And so they wait, as people have always waited for stories they care about, building castles of hope out of the smallest stones of fact. In the end, the silence may be the biggest statement of all. It says, we are thinking. It says, we are holding this close for now. It says, when we are ready, you will know. That readiness can arrive in a blink, with a photograph or a line that starts 1,000 conversations. And when it does, the day's chatter will collapse into clarity. For now, this is where things stand, rumors wrapped in tenderness, hints braided with restraint, and a love story that continues to enchant both its stars and its audience. Whether the next page holds a wedding, a baby, or both, the feeling in the air is that something bright is on the horizon. The breath is held, the eyes are on their feeds, and every notification could be the one that changes everything. Remember, until Elçin, Sangu and Barış Arduç themselves step forward with their truth, we're reading the room, not the script. But if the room has ever felt this warm, this ready, this brimming with promise, it's hard to recall when. And that is why every whisper, every quiet glance, every shared departure feeds the same belief, that a beautiful announcement is nearer than anyone dares to say out loud. That's all for now from Turkish Spotlight Secrets. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to be the first to hear the moment anything becomes official, make sure you're subscribed, share this video with fellow fans, and keep your notifications on. We'll be here, watching the story unfold with you. Until next time, take care and stay tuned.